Downs Gaming and Hotel, we work extremely hard to make your experience here convenient, safe, and fun.
I love Batavia Downs Gaming.
We love it!
I love Batavia Downs Gaming.
We don't just like Batavia Downs Gaming, we love Batavia Downs Gaming.
Batavia Downs Gaming, Hotel, and Racetrack. We not only want you to like coming here, we want you to love coming here.
And folks, who has not loved the amazing wrestling on TV these last 3 weeks across free TV? It has been nothing but good entertainment and quality wrestling. Doesn't matter what brand you're watching. But today we are here to talk Backlash on the show, where it's not wrestling with your conscience. It's not wrestling with your budget. It's wrestling with emotion. And we've got the man who's got the day named after him, Slick Saturday. We've got the Prophet, Rob Ryan. We've got Markadu, and we've got Mikey J. Partham, the head of the table. Gents, happy Backlash Saturday.
First of all, what the hell is that, McAdoo?
What?
All right, well, you're going to timeout while I talk about some Backlash,
No, you don't.
All right, well, it's a great Saturday, so let's have a great Backlash. We got John Cena versus Randy Orton. We got Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight versus Damian Priest. We got I'm blanking on whatever else. Oh, we got Pat McAfee versus the Ring General Gunther.
And who can wait to see Dominic Mysterio in defense of his Intercontinental title against Penta? A lot of momentum. Parthi, what stands out to you most going into this card tonight?
I have here's an early prediction, and it's not I think we're all going to have sweeps here today, because I don't see really a surprise on this card. I mean, they could shock us at the end with something for the main event, but I think the winners, more or less, are pretty much standing out pretty clearly. I mean, maybe there's one match that we could go back and forth on, like who would go over. Is it time for that person to go over? But this is pretty paint by the numbers Backlash, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the crowd's going to get hot for Randy Orton. It's St. Louis, of course, and it's probably the last time we'll see Cena versus Orton in the ring. But, I mean, WWE's doing pretty well with some of these storylines, some of these angles, and the match setups. And there's a couple of matches that could have been set up for Backlash, but are probably going to get delayed until a Saturday night's main event. But I don't know. I'm not feeling... I mean, I'm anticipating good matches, but I'm not necessarily hyped, so to speak, for Backlash.
That's fair. We are still in that post-WrestleMania lull or, period, the afterglow or whatever you call it. With that said, over under right now, or actually, this is my question. Tonight, does John Cena survive 2+ RKOs?
So we're setting the line at 1.5?
No, I'm not setting the line at 1.5 necessarily. Well, I guess so. Yes, two covers.
Over.
But here's the thing. He can't take the second one on the outside, and then it's like, wait for a while. I want to know if he takes a second RKO in the ring and survives that with a pin.
These guys have been known to spam finishers. I remember the Royal Rumble match. I think we mentioned that one before, where they pretty much didn't just spam their own finishers. They spammed each other's finishers. So I would say it's a good bet to bet the over.
I think we're definitely going to see an attitude adjustment reversed into an RKO. I feel like that's a given, right? And then I think we'll see one on the outside at least.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think. I think the outside Maniac is a great point, because if this over does hit on the 1.5, I don't think Cena kicks out of both cleanly. There could be like a rollout, a leg on the rope, or a roll onto the ring. Could be on the outside of the ring, as you said. So there's no availability to get Cena back in that ring for a 3 count right away. So I guess the line where you said it is like, does he survive 1.5 RKOs? Yes. Does he kick out of him clean? I'm not willing to bet that, Maniac.
Okay. Anyone else that takes on that?
I'll save it for later, because it might make more sense later.
Okay.
All right. Obviously, a lot of storylines going on. We do have our predictions. Anyone got anything before we get into the predictions for the matches themselves? Parthy's already got his broom out.
Well, I'm anticipating brooms across the board. I might be surprised.
Okay. All right. Well, so let's get into it then. Without further ado, let's get into Backlash, brought to you by that one lawyer company with matches sponsored by separate other companies. WWE Backlash. 5 matches, probably going to be about 4 hours. And everyone will complain
not
when
possible.
AEW puts up. Oh, I know, Rob. Oh, it's only going to be 3 hours and 20 minutes.
No, it's going to be 3 hours because UFC's got to start at 10. They can't run
that
into
is
UFC.
true.
No,
Okay,
bro,
yeah.
they can run into it all they want. They've done it before.
Okay. All right, let's start off with an easy one, obviously. Gunther versus Pat McAfee. I don't know what the odds are in this match, but if I was making them, Gunther would be about -1 million. This is what you call in the industry a get back spot. Gunther obviously lost his title to Jay. Kind of tapped and looked like a bitch at WrestleMania. I think he tapped a little quickly. I would have liked to see him get like all the way choked out or something like that. With that said, I think Gunther absolutely steamrolls him. I said if they do this match right, McAfee should be Looney Tune, like literally on the pavement, like, flattened at the end of this match. Parthy, let's go around the horn to Slick. What do you got? Gunther versus Pat McAfee happening here.
All right, so if you're curious about the odds, I have the Bet US odds here. Gunther is -1,600 versus Pat McAfee +600. Yeah, I think the question is not so much who's going to win. It's going to be how much offense do they allow Pat McAfee to get in. Like, I imagine maybe some aerial maneuvers, like come off the top rope, double axe handle, or a splash or something to that effect. But Gunther's not going to let him get, much offense consecutively. Pat will get his spots. He'll duck out of the way of a spear or some other thing. I don't know. I think Gunther's going to pretty much choke Pat McAfee out in less than 10 minutes.
Wow.
I mean, he's probably not wrong. I love Pat. I don't understand why the hate that's in our little group chat for Pat McAfee. It's just, I think it's just all the old heads just don't like the new generation stuff. It's just my opinion on it. But obviously Pat McAfee's taking the fall here. He's probably gonna do his little flip off the top rope, land on his feet. But obviously Gunther's gonna get the win and get in a get back match or get right game, whatever the hell you want to call it.
God damn, McAdoo calling out everyone today. Damn.
Just wait.
Is that a threat? All right, whatever.
No,
but
well, I already have one for you.
All
buddy.
right. It's my time. It's my time now. No, shut your mouth. Gunther's obviously just on a little whiny sprout. He's crying, attacking announcers while they're not expecting it, tapping like a little bitch at WrestleMania. Pat McAfee gonna make him look like a little bitch tonight until some shenanigans happen, and then Gunther's obviously gonna pull out the victory. But don't let Pat McAfee down easy. He's gonna be ready to go.
Wait, you're expecting shenanigans in this match? Gunther's not going to play it straight?
Gunther playing it straight. The guy is a little bitch.
He has been acting a little sus lately. I'll give Rob that. I could see shenanigans. I don't know if we see him. I did really enjoy that segment when Gunther attacked commentary, that all Pat's boys just jumped the barricade and were like willing to scrap for him right off the rip. It adds to the realness of the segment. I still think they've just made Gunther look like a little baby this entire time. And this just feels like an excuse for me to let Pat wrestle. I don't know if they promised him another match at some point and they just thought this is a spot like, okay, mediocre card where we don't have much going on. We can get you in here with a really quick storyline that we can just launch all of a sudden a couple weeks before. But, they had the Stephanie's People show and she's interviewing Pat. And he's highlighting so much how he's based so much of his life off wrestling, retiring from the NFL right before this match coming up. It's like this is just like a charity spot. They promised Pat another match at some point, and here we are getting it forced within the matter of 3 weeks against the Ring General of all people. So if you have Gunther look weak in this match, you've done it too much and you're overdoing it. Give Pat his spots, but then make Gunther basically kill him to what Maniac's point was. And I gather we have the voice of reason joining us.
We do. Ernie, what do you got for Gunther, Pat McAfee, just to kick off the WWE prediction show?
Slick pretty much said it all. I mean, they cannot let Gunther is like one of the most dominant champions they've ever had. Every time he's had any championship in WWE/NXT, it's been a dominant run. And for them to like have him almost lose to Pat McAfee after having a dominant run would just like, in my opinion, really kill his aura. So Pat can get a spot or two in, but Gunther has to, it's almost as if like they wanted Gunther to remain a monster, but they didn't want to sacrifice an actual like wrestler, so they're letting Pat be the sacrificial lamb, and I'm okay with that. But under no circumstance whatsoever should Pat come close to win this match.
Gotcha. So not even a near 3 fall after like a top rope move that he catches him off guard with.
If that happens, it's got to turn right into the choke submission.
Okay, gotcha. I think that's a good play. That's a good play for sure. Yeah, when you guys mentioned it, I could definitely, now that I think about it, I could see the crew getting involved in this one from the McAfee side. I don't think there will be any hijinks from the Gunther side, but I could see all kinds of hijinks from the McAfee side to kind of make it close and kind of carry the match a little bit.
What are the odds that at the end, at this point, early on, that we see a certain former legend return to stare down Gunther, or is that too early? Is it way too early? Yeah.
You're like 3 months ahead before SummerSlam. I don't think you're seeing it this early.
I don't know if SummerSlam's too far in advance to do the match.
Could be next?
I'm saying he's next. I just don't know if he's going to be making the challenge at this show.
Gunther is next. I don't. And by the way, I said this in the chat, and so we just got to talk about this now. And it ends in anything but literally Goldberg getting like obliterated into smithereens. Like, that is so stupid. It's
in my opinion, it shouldn't even be a match. Like, we should have all this hype around another Goldberg return. He comes out, everyone's fired up, and Gunther's like, "Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah,
this old man." And as soon as he gets in the ring, he puts him in a rear naked to sleep, and then we never see Bill Goldberg again. That's the way.
Jim Goldberg has not been over in like 2 to 3 years in a WWE ring.
People still like chanting his name, whether he's that over or not.
But
when you have a live crowd, they will chant.
Has he had like an iconic entrance at like these PLEs? Like I don't recall that.
When he shows up, they chant his name.
I don't recall anything of merit he's done since he squashed Lesnar at Survivor.
Yeah, again, I'm on the same.
No, we can talk about his merit all day. That's a whole other conversation.
But I'm just saying, like when you point to a moment, like like there's times from like Rusev Day where like Rusev had like a biblical entrance. You know what I mean? Like after WrestleMania, like 34 or whatever it was. Like he had a crazy entrance. Like I don't remember anything like that for Goldberg the past 3 years, and that's why I'm so surprised that WWE is trying to shoehorn him into a spot. Makes me think it's kind of like desperate.
That's where I'm at too.
But anyways, again, I'm not name calling. I'm just kind of calling it like I see it. With that said, calling it like I see it. That's what Becky Lynch did when she attacked Lyra Valkyria after their tag team loss the night after WrestleMania. So now they'll be facing off Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. I'm trying to convince myself that like Becky Lynch can lose in this spot and that she's too big for like the women's IC title. But it seems to me like that's not going to be the case here. They're going to kind of go with a slower burn on her heel run. They're going to have her take out a mid-carder who, she viewed as her idol. And I think the biggest thing was that she kind of telegraphed it because Becky was kind of talking about Bailey on like a podcast this week, like shooting some shots at her. And I could see maybe those two having a feud to elevate the IC title for the women. So I think Becky wins this match, even though I do want Lyra to win. Slick, let's go around to you to Ernie. Who you got in this one?
Yeah, you just said it best. This is the perfect opportunity, although it's probably not the greatest decision for Lyra in the short term. I think you put the title on Becky here and give that women's Intercontinental title a brief moment where you can have two top women's superstars, former world title holders, to elevate this championship on the mid card to an entirely different feeling and ballpark. And then you can have Lyra Valkyria come back and face Becky again. You could maybe have them do a rubber match down the line where Lyra comes out on top. but give this women's IC title a little more meaning. And obviously, the person to do that in their eyes is big time Bex.
Having Becky win this, by the way, kind of reminds me of, if they were to do that, reminds me of when Cena won the U.S. title, and they kind of was able to elevate it in a big way. One of the best parts of that period of WWE program. What do you got, Prophet?
Yeah, I think this was the best build out of all the matches on Backlash. I think Lyra really shined in this build. But I think they will give it to Becky. I think they're not going to just end the heel run, just to give her first loss in the heel run. So I'm going to give it to Becky. I'm not sure if Bayley is going anytime soon because I know she wasn't actually injured, and I don't know if it was a kayfabe announcement or anything, but I'm pretty sure it was Triple H or someone announced that she's going to be out for like the foreseeable future, like months. So I don't know if that was just kayfabe, but we'll see. But I think, yeah, they need to have Becky just to elevate it a little more, and we'll see what happens.
So Bailey's not actually injured, right? She's all fake bullshit.
Never been reported.
Kayfabe, not fake. Kayfabe.
Okay, I just want to back my everything I'm about to say. That
you're going full Velveteen Dream over there.
For the same reason you guys hate Charlotte, I fucking despise Becky Lynch. This is the second time she's shown up and got a title match instantly. That happened 3 years ago at Allegiant Stadium against Bianca Belair.
Yeah, Bianca.
But she just took over Carmella's spot for no fucking reason. Now again,
well, she took Shotzi's spot, but yes,
McAdoo.
PG, brother.
Eat a dick. And takes over Bailey's spot now. It's stupid. It make if you wanted to have her back and have her in this spot, there's so many other ways to do it. That being said, unfortunately, you got to give it to the man. I hate to say it.
Yeah, you guys have been saying it. Really, you need Lyra to get the crowd behind her. You need her to chase a little bit because she beats Becky, and then where does she go? And yes, it's not unlike Cena winning the U.S. title, or maybe Roman Reigns winning the U.S. title, although he took it as a demotion. But yeah, I think Bayley is going to return soon to challenge Becky when she wins it. And Lyra down. I don't know what they're going to do with Lyra in the meantime. Maybe they have her off TV for a while. Find one or two other mid-card women to have her feud with in her chase back to the Intercontinental Championship. But yeah, this seems like a lose to chase and win it all over again and overcome, her mentor once and for all down the road. And I expect Becky and Bayley to be fighting over this title in the near future. But yeah, this was the one match where I thought that maybe it could be a retention by Lyra. Maybe someone on this panel could think that Lyra's retaining, but no, I think we're all on the same page. It's Becky. Becky Hogan, brother.
People question that decision of Becky beating Bianca at Allegiant Stadium at the SummerSlam that one year, but she did do the honors for Bianca, and Bianca got her win back and got her title back.
Agreed.
I see this being a very similar story arc. Lyra could also be competing in Money in the Bank coming up, so that could hold her for a little while, and maybe a match here and there. But Becky wins the night. Becky and Bayley have like an old school Intercontinental Championship feud when they talk about how the Intercontinental belt used to be the workhorse belt, blah, 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 the same shit we hear all the time. But it'll be neat, and then Lyra gets the Intercontinental Championship back eventually.
Hey, let's let McAdoo go off a little bit more, because I want to know if it's just the SummerSlam squash match that you hold against Becky, or is it one or two other things? Because Charlotte has a long list of that kind of stuff.
It's not just that I don't like Becky for. It's more stuff than that. But at some point, you have to realize that she's done the same shit that Charlotte. She's done the same shit that Charlotte's done.
I just look at Becky as a more interesting character, and Charlotte's just a one note.
Debatable.
Ernie,
if not for Nia Jax punching Becky Lynch, what else is she known for?
She made it a good moment. She made it the most of it. You got to give her credit.
Thank you, Nia Jax. You fucking ruined it.
Yeah, I guess we should be
people
thanking.
God damn it.
She took an RKO in the Royal Rumble.
Never forget.
All right,
Ernie,
so I think this is yet another sweep.
The notion of them kind of establishing some nostalgia with the IC title. What about a Bayley Becky IC title match at SummerSlam ladder match.
That'd be kind of, as the kids say, that'd be fire.
Yeah,
At
for sure.
MetLife Stadium.
Oh, that would smack for sure.
Oh.
That could low key. I mean, I know it's a women's IC title. That could main event a night one of a 2-night buy one get one free for sure.
Agreed, and that would fuck, as the kids say too. That would...
Let's go. I agree. Speaking of fuck,
Yeah, we're going to fuck today.
there's one guy who's been doing a lot of that, and it's Dom Mysterio.
Oh,
the IC title.
Well, maybe not lately. His lady's been away for a while, but go ahead.
Agreed. With for 3 weeks or whatever, filming some movie that everyone made it sound like it was going to be Avengers Doomsday. With that said, Dom Mysterio champion versus Penta. Love Penta. He has all the energy in the world. He's still a newcomer or whatever. Dom Mysterio, he just got to this spot, and this is really a good. He's too good of a foil to just lose it at Backlash. I think eventually he'll lose it maybe at like a SummerSlam or something. But I think Dom Mysterio retains through some like crazy Judgment Day tomfoolery to retain. Ernie, what do you got? And let's go back up to Slick.
I have Penta winning, but not winning the title due to some flim flam from the Judgment Day.
Flim flam. Well, we have like a whole thesaurus full of words for things that the Judgment Day can do. But classically, of course, when you have the Judgment Day, you know what it's going to involve.
Shenanigans.
Okay.
Shenanigans.
Ugh. It's going to be shenanigans. People, I don't know. I don't think Penta's going to be winning by DQ, of course. The Judgment Day's been around long enough. They're smarter than that. They know how to distract referees, have one person over here and another, while you're watching the left hand, you don't know what the right hand's doing, that sort of thing. But I don't think it's going to be only the Judgment Day that's going to be involved in the shenanigans. Because recall that Penta in his WWE debut beat one Chad Gable, who reminded him this past Raw that he still remembers that, and that's still sticking in his craw. And he also reminded him that his brother Rey Fenix got beat in his WrestleMania debut by one El Grande Americano. So, and Penta, of course, dropped him for that and, got in his face and talked a little trash. I think maybe Chad Gable could show up, but maybe he has no business being there. Maybe he gives a call to his friend El Grande Americano, and he gets involved in this match enough to distract Penta for Dom to get the win over Penta and retain his IC title.
I mean, Dirty Dominic Dude Wipe is not going to lose his title this early. Come on. Especially the guy who copies, what's his name? George Kittle.
Or is George Kittle copying him?
I know it's the other way around. Before anyone gets their panties in a bunch.
I didn't know George Kittle did that.
How dare you disrespect Dom Mysterio?
What do you mean? I've been saying Dirty Dude Wipe Dom for like 2 years now.
Just how dare you? That is
Rob
man.
always starts like he has like so much to say, and then it's just like a quick one line, and we're all just waiting for the follow up.
They should sell Dirty Dom Dude Wipes on WWE Shop. Those would.
Dom is a good man who was treated.
Wait, don't they sell Dom toilet paper?
Yeah, they did. So it's not far off.
That is a good man.
They have the advertisement there. They sponsor them. So I mean, why is it that far off?
That is a good man who was treated very unfairly from a deadbeat dad who's now just trying to make a living with a beautiful girlfriend and with an IC title. And he also has his own family and Finn Balor trying to take that title from him. He's just been treated unfairly forever, and now this is finally his time, and he's gonna get that 1, 2, 3 against Cero Miedo.
Hey, don't forget that. That's his Ray's adopted dad. Don't forget, because Eddie's his real dad. So
yeah. What the hell, Rob? Get your shit right.
His deadbeat stepdad, whatever.
Penta, get ready to get pinned by Dom Mysterio at Backlash, brother. Yeah, I mean, what are we doing? Hey, poor Penta. I mean, he could have been wrestling the Young Bucks in a steel cage, but here we are getting pinned by the guy who
2,000 people.
He already did that.
Penta, get ready to learn speed title, brother.
Exactly. No pop.
Didn't he already win the
I'm
speed
kidding.
championship at
I
one
think
point?
that Penta will continue to be in the mid card, and he might even flirt into like some number one WWE title matches or like contender matches if they do like Fatal 4-Way or something. But yeah, I think you just have to have Dom Mysterio win in the spot, and that seems to be the page we're on. Or Ernie's case, Dom or Penta wins by DQ and Dom retains. I think that's pretty key.
When is the draft first?
They haven't set a date.
Cares.
Because
There's
I was
been
gonna say
rumors about it.
they could put them
Who
Penta and
fucking
Phoenix together. That was my
cares?
point.
Who cares?
Who gives a
Remember when was the draft when they did they drafted Cena to SmackDown, and then back at the end of the night he got drafted back to Raw.
No, everyone was like,
That was
"Whoa!"
stupid.
WWE's just done some of the dumbest shit. Do we
Well,
have
how
any,
about
do
the
we have
year
any
that, like,
Backlash trivia while we're shooting through this?
Yeah. Roll the thing. Intern.
Batavia down is more, lots more.
Yes,
Easy one to
sir.
remember. Right.
All right. Let's find the one I was looking for here. Okay, so 2 backlashes in a row. There was a gap between 2018 and 2020. Kind of a 2-match question here. These main events, both years of Backlash, non-title matches. Who were the main events? 2018, 2020. I'll give you a hint. 2020, obviously, Performance Center's first Backlash main event, and it was dubbed the greatest match of all
I
time.
remember it now.
Oh, yeah.
Before it even took place.
Edge and Randy Orton.
Yeah,
That is correct.
For an hour because they kept doing everyone's finishers.
2020.
I looked. Oh yeah, they did keep doing everyone's finishers, and they were like in the back, like
And they were on
storage
like an
room.
ambulance.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
some weird shit. I know the answer to the other one too. It's very tough unless you remember it.
It is tough. One is no longer with the company.
And the other guy is on vacation half the time.
Okay, so
Roman
one's Roman
Reigns.
Reigns. The other guy's don't want the company.
Versus
Not
John Moxley.
This is a pretty infamous. This guy is a pretty infamous example of like a guy that they really could have pulled the trigger on, like to
big
make
time.
like it to go to like the very top.
Baron Corbin.
But they never. Oh,
Nope.
Samoa Joe.
There you go.
Samoa Joe.
Indeed.
The Ops.
Samoa Joe
Yeah.
and Roman Reigns defeated him by pinfall. Singles match, no title.
Yeah,
Roman
singles match,
Reigns,
no title, main event of
Samoa Joe
Backlash, kind of
in
crazy.
the main event of Backlash. Pretty
Hmm.
wild.
There
I
was
mean,
a
let's
weird,
get
there was a
back
weird
on
time though where it was like when it was Ambrose and Styles as the champions, like where like I hate to say it, like they were just throwing the championship match in the middle of the card. It was like them versus Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, and that's another guy too that you want to talk about pulling triggers. And
One of the greatest
should've been-
moments of all time was him cashing in night after WrestleMania.
yep, that zigzag hit like crack.
It did for sure. All right, shout out Batavia Downs for that trivia. This next match, I gotta think this one's gonna steal the card. Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight versus Damian Priest. Voice of reason, Ernie Green. Why don't you take us through what you see happening in this one, and we'll go around the horn back to me.
I think this has the potential. Now, I mean, it's WWE, so they could just water it down. I think this has the potential to be one of the best hard hitting fatal 4-ways we've ever seen, if they want to.
Yeah,
With the people in it, because you have a bunch of big guys and you have LA Knight who can bounce around, the littler guy. I think it's gonna be a great match with 4 really, really good professional wrestlers. I think Jacob is going to retain and continue his momentum. The only way I see Jacob not winning would be if Solo turns on him.
Oh no.
Yeah, the solo turn's happening, but it's still just a little too soon for that.
Yeah, I
mean,
don't think
you
it's
can see
gonna be tonight either.
the tension's building, not unlike Finn Balor and the Judgment Day, but Jacob Fatu is basically going to dog walk all their asses. You know what I mean?
You got what I mean?
He's all gas, no brakes, McAdoo.
I mean, I think McIntyre and Priest going to take each other out here. I think they're going to just destroy each other as much as they can. As it's going to be between back to Fatu and Knight, and I'm going to take Umaga Jr. here.
Yeah, I think this is going to be, as as Sheamus likes to call it, a banger. It's just 4 guys who are just going to beat the absolute living hell out of each other. And I think Jacob Fatu ends up atop because I love you, Jacob.
Yeah, this is. Oh man, I wish I knew what he was saying right there.
He's saying all gas, no brakes. That was his
yeah.
Jacob
Oh yeah,
Fatu
that's right.
impression, dude. It was
He
last night.
did
It was
do the impression
hysterical.
last night. I forgot about that. Yeah, this is gonna be awesome. I thought the tag they did last night with Priest and LA Knight was well done. Classic, like building some tension there between part of the match to come, and then obviously McIntyre getting involved later in the night was really well done. Yeah, this is going to be a hard hitting one. All 4 of these guys can put on a show and can proven that they have been able to main event spots. So I'm going to go with Jacob Fatu. It's too soon to put it on anyone else, unless you want to do McIntyre, which would be quite the surprise. And they have been highlighting him lately. I don't know if they want to pull trigger on him going with and elevating that mid-card title just yet, because I think Jacob is the guy and everyone's behind him already. So I think Jacob does retain.
Yeah, I think we're going to sweep Fatu retaining for sure. I would not be surprised. One of the best things I thought about the night 1 main event for Mania, Punk, Rollins, Reigns, was they each got kind of like a 5 to 8 minute segment where they dominated, and then the match kind of reset, and then they did like the match from there. I could see the same situation happening here with Priest, LA Knight, and McIntyre. The only difference in my mind is I think that how they're going to tell this story is Fatu's basically going to take the best shot from each one of them, and then somehow still end up standing tall at the end of that. I don't know if he's going to be like standing tall victoriously, but he's going to survive taking the best shot from all 3 of them. But ultimately, Fatu retains.
Just want to take a second to shout out this Instagram comment here. Queen D92877 on Instagram says, I don't like Dom or Penta, so it doesn't matter either way which one wins to me because I think they both suck.
That's a
Hey,
fair
I think sucks people that have 54 digits in their username.
Well, that's very fair. That is very fair.
Jeez.
Also, the guy who sucks eggs.
Oh man. Well, that's a self-proclaimed from you. So let's.
Hey, you know what I think I think Dom and Penta would say to that Instagram user.
You get nothing.
Maybe.
All right. With that said, it is main event time, folks, and let's get ready for it, folks. Again, remember you could always have a main event at Batavia Downs. The event calendar is filled. Go to BataviaDowns.com to check it out, or follow on socials at Batavia Downs. A main event that if you had told, 2009 Maniac, he would have been pretty pissed, but I'm pretty happy that we're getting it in 2025, for sure. With that said, John Cena against Randy Orton. I gotta think you gotta pull some shenanigans in this match. The Cena run has been a little bit bland to me. His top moment was basically yelling at that little kid in the first promo, and since then it's kind of been a little flat in my opinion. He did a decent job of taking Randy Orton down, but John Cena ranting about drug tests, that's just so that's like 2012 John Cena essentially, or it's just so old and overdone in my opinion. I hope there's a little flavor here. I don't know if we get Travis Scott. I don't know if there's 20 to 1 odds that we get the final boss, but I hope there's a little flavor because I think ultimately we all agree Cena is going to be walking out of St. Louis with the title. It's just a matter of whether Randy Orton is scorned or whether he's actually somehow pinned down. But Cena retains and wins over Randy Orton. Slick, what do you got?
Yeah, I think I agree with you in the fact that there's going to be shenanigans. If I had to guess, a ref bump. And I really do think that in St. Louis at this stage in Randy Orton's career versus the guy that he made a career of putting matches on with, there is going to be a Randy Orton non-existent 3 count from that St. Louis crowd while a ref is down. You're going to get some form of Randy Orton basically winning it but not winning it. But Cena is still going to walk out with this title. I'm really excited to see what happens in this match. Like you said, Maniac, if you told 2009 Slick that this match was happening, I'd be like, oh, sweet. I just saw it on SmackDown last night as well. So not excited about it. Definitely happy to see it. These guys both deserve it at this stage in their career. But yeah, I think John wins because he's not done on the farewell tour.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be a really good match to start. I think it'll go back and forth. I think there'll be obviously multiple RKOs, multiple AAs, multiples you can't see me, multiple vintage Ordens. But in the end, I think it's gonna be a really shitty ending with some shenanigans because remember, John Cena wants to ruin wrestling. So he's gonna just keep having these really shitty endings and all this dumb shit because of his end goal of when he gets to retirement is to pretty much ruin wrestling. So I think John Cena wins this match, but it's going to be in a really bullshit way, just like WrestleMania.
Real quick, I forgot to mention, I was on the same boat as most people, how fake and stupid this heel John Cena felt. But I'm at the point now where I think it's the most hilarious thing ever in wrestling, him trying so hard to be such a bad dude. It's just comical every time, every week. But
because every promo, there's like that little spurt of like, oh wait, he's saying his like old self like right now, and he like can't
he's
help.
He's trying so hard. It's so funny. McAdoo, what you got?
So let me ask you guys something. Is St. Louis prepared for their second heartbreak in a week?
What?
Oh, jeez.
I mean, come on. I had to throw.
Somebody got to do it.
Somebody had to do it. I mean, come on. Randy Orton's not going to win. They're not going to take the title off of Cena anytime soon. I would not be surprised if he doesn't lose until December. But
should Cena come out in a Winnipeg jersey?
That'd be
we're
pretty
not
hard.
getting Thugonomics, or else I would say yes. If it was Thugonomics, yes.
Yeah,
but
if it was him.
I mean, 1.6 seconds between that and maybe an Orton win again, but WWE's not that funny, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course. I think I got Cena retaining his title by hook or crook in this match. There's a couple of factors that play that are kind of flying under the radar. One is a certain super fan of Cena's by the name of R-Truth, who's been going around backstage with the "Let's Go Cena" signs, and Jimmy was like, "What the hell are you doing, dog? What is it?" I don't know if R-Truth is just playing up his I'm a big childhood hero John Cena gimmick, or if this is going to lead to something more. I don't think, because Cena looked at Truth with some sort of disdain the one time that he's run across him thus far. So I don't think John Cena is recruiting R-Truth anytime soon. But here's a scenario. What if R-Truth just comes out there like toward the end of the match and he's got his sign, he's singing, he's standing ringside, and he's cheering on Cena, and Orton just looks at him like, "The hell are you doing out here, man? Get out of here!" And R-Truth ends up like distracting Orton enough for like John Cena to maybe if there's that inevitable ref bump out there, to hit him with the WWE title or something to that effect. There's another scenario I want to put forth for you guys. There was a match between Cena and Orton in their classic rivalry, and this can be a little bit of train wreck trivia, where Randy Orton, and you may have seen this clip, it's been going around a little bit. Randy Orton's in the ring, and Cena's gotten back in the ring from a possible countout, and Orton's just like, "Oh no, I can't beat Cena." So he slaps the referee and causes an intentional disqualification. What year and what event did that take place?
2008 No Way Out.
Yes.
Because that was the second time my parents bought a pay-per-view, and that was the last time.
Awesome. So what do you guys think the likelihood of John Cena in his quest to ruin wrestling? He doesn't give the fans a satisfactory ending. He doesn't give them a definitive ending, even if it's by shenanigans and he gets a pinfall. What if he just slaps the referee and causes an intentional DQ and just throws out the match like that, and everybody goes home not just not happy but dissatisfied at an inconclusive ending, a crappy booking, so to speak.
I could see it happening even more, because then Randy can give him an RKO after, and everyone does kind of go home happy.
The other factor at play here is that I do believe Cena is scheduled for Saturday night's main event a short 2 weeks right after Backlash. So they could, and it could really screw with the fans after saying this is the last time ever, and they could run that match back 2 weeks later if Cena causes an intentional DQ, and they make it a no DQ sort of hardcore, type of match to
Isn't the
prevent
card
that from happening
already
again.
booked for that? Don't they already have the 4 matches?
No,
No.
they don't have any matches announced. I don't think.
Yeah, there's
No.
one or two that we suspect will
gotta be
happen
like
on Saturday
J-Lo
night,
and
but
Paul, right?
nothing booked.
Yeah, that would be there, but it's not
Yeah.
announced yet. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Partham, I was going to bring up that spot. I want them to start the match with that spot. Like, I want the bell to ring, and I want Cena to slap the referee
Right off the
immediately,
bat.
and then
You love
then
chaos.
and then to Orton to talk him out of the referee out of disqualifying him. That's
No,
how
no,
I
no.
want the match to start.
You know what happens?
Tonight.
Nick Aldis will come out and restart the match, and maybe he'll make a no DQ on the spot there.
Yes,
I see
exactly.
that
But
happening.
I do think that I do think, Partham, that there will be some skullduggery tonight in this match. And there will be not a clean ending in which they will have a rematch at Saturday night's main event with some sort of stipulation where either no DQ or if Cena gets DQ'd, he loses the belt, something like that.
I can see that. But after
But Cena's
advertising
one-
this match
Cena's-
as the last time ever, and then running it back 2 weeks later, it's kind of reeks of once in a lifetime WrestleMania 28, and then they do the same match
Yeah, that
1 year
would be
later.
silly.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
how about Goldberg's 37th retirement tour? I'm sorry, Bill Goldberg's
Yeah, sure.
37th. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's there's just so many stories of things that happened that never stayed. So I mean that's pro wrestling on every level.
Yeah.
Agreed. And we are basically a sweep on every level except for Ernie's Penta winning by DQ. We have all the same winners on the card. So Backlash tonight. Anyone with any final thoughts before we sign off here?
No.
Let's have a slick Saturday.
Let's
Yes,
have a sick
indeed.
Saturday. Because it's not the show where it's about wrestling with your conscience. It's not the show where it's about wrestling with your budget. It is wrestling with emotion. And you'll get what you deserve, which is nothing.